What if everyone were a minimalist? Minimalism is one of the greatest tools to live a value-aligned life. But before we reflect on the benefits and consequences of everyone going minimalist, we first have to define the term. Minimalism. Noun. I was going to leave the definition here empty or minimal, but decided that was an awful joke, so here it is. Minimalism is the practice of removing the things in your life you don't value to bring in more of the things you care about. It's all about being intentional with what you keep, and aligning your daily decisions with your values will help you lead a life you actually care about and that's genuinely you. And practicing minimalism will lead to increased freedom, energy, space, and time. Picture this. In a world where everyone stopped buying, stores and malls close and the economy tanks, coffee shops shut down because everyone is making 20-cent iced coffee in their homes. But is this minimalism? No! This is if everyone were frugal and didn't spend money. If everyone didn't spend money, then they would save mad amounts of money, but their job will probably be gone because the business they work for goes bankrupt. And funny enough, it's people buying that makes the economy go round. But fortunately, I believe people will always be willing to spend money on things such as convenience. People consuming less does pose challenges for businesses, marketers, and salespeople, but fortunately with minimalists, they will consume less in some areas, but then potentially spend more in others. So I'm going to share a couple of trends that I've seen in the minimalist movement. The first trend is that when people buy items, they buy for life. This emphasizes high quality over everything else. People want a product that's going to last them for years and years and years, potentially their entire lives. So they are willing to pay a hefty price in the beginning to have that product last their entire lifetime. For instance, when it comes to shoes, I would say people are willing to buy that high quality shoe that they can wear every day for an entire year, then to buy a pair of shoes that only last them half of a year, and then they have to buy a new one because the soles completely fell apart. The next trend I see is that people support companies that share the same values, whether that's for ocean conservation and saving the environment or just being an ethical company. Companies that have a message that truly resonates with its audience or customers will shine in the end. Probably the two biggest values that people care about in a company are first being ethical and then secondly being environmentally friendly. If people care about these things, then companies should reflect that in their products or the process of how they create their products. And no, they can't simply just appear to care about those things on the surface because people can smell bullshit a mile away. Companies have to genuinely care about these things for people to purchase their products or services. Another trend I see is that minimalists push experiences over things. This is a tricky one because in general, less consumption is better for the environment, which many people I would argue care about. But however, for minimalists, they consume less in some areas and then consume more in others. For example, they don't buy as many clothes, but then spend all of their money on things such as travel. Ways for transportation such as cars and planes leave a giant footstep because of the materials they have as well as their fuel consumption. Recent innovations such as electric cars help out with this process, and I recently just found out that an electric airplane isn't really feasible. I don't know, these are just experts that say that things aren't possible, but I'd say just throw Elon Musk on that project and see if it works out. So actually, if everyone went frugal, that'd be better for the environment than if everyone went minimalist. If people consume less, then less products will be made because the demand simply isn't there. And then the environment is saved. If everyone went minimalist, people would be living a value-aligned life that's true to themselves, and I genuinely believe that people would be happier because they're not wasting time, space, and energy towards the things they necessarily don't care for. People's rooms would be less cluttered and more space efficient. People would also declutter their relationships so they can do more of the activities and spend time with people they actually care about. They'd also be directing their spending towards things they value or to the things that bring value to them. This would help people prioritize their spending, pay down their debt, and help people avoid frivolously spending on items that here and there that just somehow end up piling up. Now the question is, can everyone actually become a minimalist? And I believe it's possible, but it's very challenging. Marketers, businesses, and salespeople have been advertising products for the longest time, and they've nailed it down to a science. Where nowadays they have targeted marketing specifically for people who mention it one time and their phone's listening, or people who are searching for a similar type of item. Targeted marketing and getting people to buy products has been a science that people have been constantly researching and becoming better at. So honestly, kudos for you to watching videos about minimalism and taking control over your life. Leave a comment down below on what you think would happen if everyone went minimalist, and be sure to give this video a like, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.